Is there any student who didn't include their roll number in Zoom group chat? No, sorry, in participant list. Nishat Tabassum, are you student? If you are a student, please add the roll number, student roll number with your name in participant list. Okay. I always ask you to
Recording stopped.
write down the roll number with your name. There is a reason behind it. Because if you don't add your roll number in the participant list, we cannot recognize you are a student or you are from faculty. This is one problem. And sometimes taking class will be difficult for us. But another thing is attendance. If you don't write your roll number, then because this is 110 students list, have you understood? If it is 110 student list, if you look at the list, your name may be missing anytime. But if your roll number is placed there, then in the serial your roll number will come automatically. Then it will be easier for us to recognize you are present in the class. Have you understood? So for the betterment for you, actually, I always ask you to write down the roll number so that your presence will be noticed by me as well as your attendance will be given. But if you write down your name only, I may forget your name. Then it will be difficult for you. Difficult for me also to recognize your name in the list and give you the attendance also. Sometimes I may made some mistake due to this one. So it's better write down your roll number so that your roll number will come in serial, and then I can give you the attendance properly. If it is only 10 to 12, 20 or 30 students, then there may not have been any problem to recognize your name and the other thing. But if you because this is 110 students class, your presence are almost around 90 students every class. So uh, from the 90 students, your name, searching your name will be difficult for me. Okay, so it's better always joining with your student ID. Okay, so we should we can start our class now. Do you remember the last class we have completed? What is the topic?
Recording in progress.
Let's start our class. What is the topic? in the last class we have studied? Have you remember anything?
The hybridization, sp3, sp2, and sp hybridization, I
What
guess.
is the last topic?
So it was sp, I guess.
It was the distinction between ionic bond and covalent bond. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you got the materials? In Google Classroom? You didn't check? Please check in Google Classroom. The materials is uploaded there. Okay, download the materials. Also, I am repeatedly ask you to study from the book. You have already the books, right? Soft copy of books or hard copy of the books. In both form, maybe some of you have maybe the only the soft copy, but you should always refer to book. The materials will not be enough for you to complete the study. Okay, so follow the materials and study from the book. That is the best thing. Okay, so we'll start the same chapter, that is chemical bonding, different topic, molecular orbital theory. So we have studied few of the theory on chemical bonding. Can you name one by one? What are the theories we have studied on chemical bonding? First one was the classical theory, or we can also say electronic theory, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Roll number 4. You are here, right? Roll number 4. Roll number 3. Roll number 5. All are absent. Roll number 17.
Yes, sir.
What is the which bonding theory or which bonds were included in electronic theory of chemical bond?
So ionic bond and covalent bond.
Very good. Any other?
Sir.
In the electronic theory of chemical bond, there are 5 bonds included. Those are ionic bond, covalent bond, coordination covalent bond,
covalent bond, metallic bond, and
coordination bond,
hydrogen bond.
hydrogen bond. Very good. So those are involved only electron, right? That's why
Yes,
those are called as electronic theory. Those are also called as classical bond. Okay, previously the bonds were explained by those theory only. Okay, but
yes, sir.
later on there are another theory came, that is called VBT, valence bond theory, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
yes,
And
sir.
according to valence bond theory, what is the concept? The bond will be between the two atom or two element will be done by the overlapping of orbital, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
According to VBT, the overlapping of orbital will be happen. Two
Yes,
types
sir.
of bonding happens, can be in according to VBT. One is sigma bond, another one is pi bond.
Pi.
So sigma bond is head-on overlapping. What is pi bond?
Mm. Pi bond is completely pure orbital. Oh,
Sidewise overlapping, basically.
sideways.
Okay.
Yes.
Sidewise
Yes, sir.
overlapping. So in case of pi bond and in case of sigma bond also, pure orbital can form sigma bond also. Okay. Pure orbital
Yes, sir.
can form sigma bond also. Pure orbital can form pi bond also. In both cases, pure orbital can form sigma and pi bond. But in case of pi bond, the bonding overlapping should be
Pure
sidewise.
orbital.
Sidewise overlapping. Okay. And the next theory was hybridization, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And in case of hybridization, there is a modified version of VBT. We can say that before overlapping, the orbitals will be mixing up together, and then they will form certain number of hybrid orbital, and then overlapping happen, right? So
Energy is equal.
energy equal will
Yes,
be
sir.
all for all the hybrid orbitals. Okay, so
Yes,
these
sir.
all bonding, if you consider the electronic theory of chemical bonding, if you consider the valence bond theory VBT, or if you consider the hybridization, the one thing is similar of all these bonding pattern is those bonding refers to the outermost energy cell. If you think carefully, you find that all the bondings are discussing about the outermost energy cell. Okay, in case of ionic bond, the bond will happen with the uh, donation, with the acceptation, or with the sharing of electron of the outermost energy cell, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
How about the VBT? VBT also, so though it's uh, consider that the overlapping will happen, but still the overlapping discussed for the only the outermost orbital. Have you understood? How about the hybridization? This also consider the overlapping or hybrid orbital formation, as well as overlapping for the outermost energy orbitals. Have you understood? So all these theory consider the either the electron transfer, electron sharing, or the overlapping of orbital for the outermost electron or outermost orbitals. Okay, there is another theory that is called molecular orbital theory, and that theory consider not only the outermost orbital, not only the outermost electron, but also all the orbitals of any elements, all the electrons of elements. Have you understood? So can you differentiate between the molecular orbital theory and other theory of chemical bond? This is actually main difference. That is, in the molecular orbital theory, it considers the overlapping of all the orbitals of any elements. And in case of other theory of chemical bond, they consider only the outermost orbital or outermost energy shell for the chemical bond. Is it clear to you? This point,
Yes,
I
sir.
will
Yes, sir.
come in details, but if you understand the point, the main differences between the molecular orbital theory and other theory of chemical bond. So if we try to look at the definition of molecular orbital theory. Molecular orbital theory, basically, as I have said, is associated with the formation of molecular orbital. Formation of molecular orbital. Please listen carefully. Formation of molecular orbital. Okay. So, firstly, before chemical bonding, what is the name of the orbital? That should be named as atomic orbital, isn't it? According
Yes,
to
sir.
molecular orbital theory, after bonding, the orbital will be named as molecular orbital. Okay, and all orbitals will take part in this process, and all the orbital will take part in the bonding process. Okay, and the other principle, whatever principle it is, the fundamental principle is almost similar to the hybridization and VBT. Okay. For example, the orbitals must have similar energy. The orbitals must overlap to a considerable extent. This is also similar to VBT and hybridization. And the orbitals overlapping should be in the same symmetry, isn't it? These are similar, these conditions. But the main condition are they will form molecular orbital, and all the orbitals of atomic orbital will take part in bonding formation. Okay, so these two are the main condition. Before going to in details, let's discuss about the bond order also. From the molecular orbital theory, we can calculate the bond order. Have we discussed this point in the other chemical bonding theory?
No, sir.
No, sir. No,
Okay, so do you know the bond order? What is actually bond order? Have you studied in HSC?
Yes, sir.
What can be how you can define the bond order?
The average of number of electrons in bonding orbitals and anti-bonding.
Difference of number of electrons in bonding orbital and anti-bonding orbital divided by 2. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so what is the bonding orbitals? Then this topic came. What is bonding orbitals? According to molecular orbital theory, when the atomic orbital overlapped each other to form the molecular orbital, that time two sets of orbital will be formed. Two sets of molecular orbital will be formed. One is bonding orbital, another one is anti-bonding orbital. Bonding orbital is for the pro-bonding. That means it will help to formation of bond, and anti-bonding orbital will be produced that will actually counter the bonding. That means they will be against the bonding. You know, in every situation, if there is some attack, there will be defense also. If there is somebody came inside our body, then antibody prepared, isn't it? So
Yes, sir.
according to the relativity theory or other theory, those also similar. So this is similar to everywhere, that if something happens from the Newton's law, every forces has its to counterbalance its equal forces, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So it is also like this, that when the bonding will form, that time two sets of molecular orbitals will be formed. One is for the bonding, and another sets of orbital will be formed. Those will be against the bonding. When the strength of bonding orbital will be higher than the anti-bonding orbital, only that time that formation of bonding will be happen. Have you understood? When the strength will be bonding orbital and anti-bonding orbital similar to each other, same to each other, then they will cancel out each other, right? And the bond will not be formed. When the bonding orbital, strength of bonding orbital will be lower than the anti-bonding orbital, then you cannot think about the bonding. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the strength of bonding orbital, if it is higher than anti-bonding orbital, that time only the bond will be formed. So from the bond order, you can also guess that this bond will be formed or not. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
So number of electrons in bonding orbital, if it is higher, and number of electrons in anti-bonding orbital is lower, then the the bond will be formed. Okay, the value, if the calculation from the bond order, if you get mathematical value is positive value, then you can understand that there will be formation of bond happen. Okay,
Sir, how will you count the anti-bonding orbitals?
the number of bonding orbital will be equal to the anti-bonding orbital. It's always equal.
Sir, bond order can be fractional.
Yes, bond order can be fractional because this value is actually experimental value. You know, in the reaction order can also be fractional, right?
Yes, sir.
So why that can be a fractional value? Because there is experimental value, right?
Yes, sir.
But the fractional value can be expressed in a integer value later on, considering some of the aspects. Okay, so from the bond order, what we can then guess, one thing is if the bond formation is happening or not. This is one thing. Another thing we can also guess that how many bond can be formed. So these two point we can understand from the bond order. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and another thing we can understand from the molecular orbital theory is magnetic properties. After the formation of bond, after the producing of the molecule, uh, we can find from the molecular orbital, we can understand if this is what type of magnetic property this element has. Okay, in the molecular orbital, if the any are paired orbit, in any presence of unpaired electron, then the molecule will be paramagnetic or paramagnetic, whatever pronunciation you pronounced, paramagnetic in nature. And if there is no unpaired electron, if there is presence of no unpaired electron in the molecular orbital section, then that is called diamagnetic, or that the nature of that molecule will be diamagnetic. So
Yes, sir. We have slightly.
okay, so we have you already understood that in case of ionic bond, there was a format, right? One side there will be a negative charge, another side there will be positive charge, and in between there will be force of attraction, and then we can show there is ionic bond, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
How about in case of VBT? We have shown that head-on collision and then sidewise collision, either that will be sigma bond and this will be pi bond. How about in the hybridization? We have shown in diagram the excitation happen, then electron will be in the upper state, isn't it? And then two sets of orbital will be formed. One is lower energy, that will be hybrid orbital, and higher energy, that will be in pure orbital, isn't it? So like those diagram, it has also another set of diagram. Okay, so this is the molecular orbital diagram. This is called molecular orbital diagram. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
So by this diagram, we will try to understand the molecular orbital theory and how okay. This is atomic orbital of any atom. For example, we have given hydrogen atom. Okay, this is another hydrogen atom. Okay, so this hydrogen atom has one electron. This hydrogen atom has one electron, and that is 1s electron, isn't it? According to molecular orbital theory, when they try to form bond, two set of molecular orbital will be formed. One set of molecular orbital will be called as bonding molecular orbital. This is called bonding molecular orbital. Okay, and the upper one, that will be anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay, so bonding molecular will be given as sigma or pi bond, but anti-bonding will be given as sigma star or pi star. And these two sets of bonding molecular orbital will be called as molecular orbital. So this bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding orbital, in both cases these two are molecular orbital, and in this set of orbital, if the number of electron is higher in bonding molecular orbital, then bond will be formed. If the electron in case of bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital, both cases is same, then they will cancel out each other and the bond will not be formed according to bond order. Also, another thing we have already studied, that magnetic properties, right? If any electron unpaired in the bonding orbital, okay, molecular orbital, then that will be called as paramagnetic. If there is no unpaired electron, that will be called as diamagnetic. Now let's come from the diamagnetic and paramagnetic. What type of magnetic property this molecule has?
Diamagnetic.
Very good. Why diamagnetic?
So there is no unpaired electron.
There is no unpaired electron. Okay, now let's come to bond order. What will be the bond order of this one?
So 1.
Why it is 1?
So 2 minus 0 divided by 2.
That means number of electrons in bonding molecular orbital, that is 2. Number of electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbital, that is 0. So 2 minus 0 by 2, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
equals to 2 divided by 2 equals to 1. Clear? So this is the molecular orbital theory for formation of H2 molecule. Have you understood? This is actually the molecular orbital theory concept and molecular orbital theory diagram or molecular orbital diagram for formation of H2 molecule according to MOT or according to molecular orbital theory. Let's go to another figure. There is molecular orbital theory for helium. Okay, this is one helium atom. So this is atomic orbital. And there is another helium atom that is also atomic orbital. Energy bar is upward direction, isn't it? When the formation of bonding happens, according to molecular orbital theory, again two sets of molecular orbital is forming. Which one is bonding molecular orbital? Who can tell?
The lower one,
Blue one or yellow one?
the blue one.
Blue one is bonding molecular orbital, and bonding molecular orbital will be in lower energy. Okay, and anti-bonding molecular orbital will be in higher energy. Okay, so in case of bonding molecular orbital, if we show you the previous one, you find that the electron is transferring from here to here, right? Another electron is coming from here to here, and that's how the electrons is occupying from the atomic orbital to the molecular orbital, isn't it? Now if you look at the helium atom, then one electron will come from this part to occupy here, another electron will come from this part, this atomic orbital, and occupy here. So how many electrons is still left here?
2.
Here actually one electron already came here, so one electron left here, right?
Yes, sir.
Here is 2 electron. Okay, here also 2 electron, isn't it? So when the formation of molecular orbital happens, electron will be occupied from the atomic orbital to the molecular orbital. Okay, so this electron is coming to here, these electrons are coming to here, and after that these electrons go to higher energy level and this electron will go to higher energy level. If one electron, this electron will come to here and another electron from here to here, so how many electron left over in this atomic orbital?
1.
One electron will be left here, right? How about here? One electron, right?
Right, sir.
So this one electron will move to here and this another electron will move to here, and ultimately this orbitals will be fulfilled, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now come to bond order. What will be the bond order?
So 0.
So this is helium, and according to molecular orbital theory, bond order you calculated is 0. Why bond order is 0? Who can tell?
The bonding orbital and the electrons of bonding orbital and the anti-bonding orbital both are same, so they will cancel out each other.
That means 2 minus 2 divided by 2 equals to 0.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then according to the molecular orbital theory bond order, that if there is no positive value of bond order, the bond will not be formed. Okay,
Yes, sir.
are you clear? Okay, so bond, if not bond forms, then is the molecule will be formed?
No, sir.
Molecule will also not be formed. Okay, so helium molecule will not be formed. Okay, How about the magnetic properties here?
Diamagnetic.
Diamagnetic, very good, because there is no presence of unpaired electron. Okay, now let's look at the another set of molecule. For example, this is nitrogen. Nitrogen molecule will be prepared from the nitrogen atom, atomic orbital of nitrogen atom and atomic orbital of nitrogen atom. In case of nitrogen atom, if we consider the 1s, if we consider the electronic structure, what will be the electronic structure of nitrogen? Electronic configuration?
1s2, 2s2, 2p3.
1s2, 2s2 and 2p3. Now if we consider 1s2, 1s2 will be in the lower side, right? Lower energy state, lowest energy state, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And then there will be 2s2. This is 2s2, right? Higher energy state. And 2p3, that will be the highest energy state in the electronic configuration of nitrogen atom, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And how about the other nitrogen atom? It will be similar, same, right? 1s2 lowest, and then 2s higher, and then highest will be 2p3. We are skipping 1s2. If we consider this is nitrogen, this is nitrogen. If we consider this is 1s of nitrogen atom, can we consider
Yes, sir.
1s of nitrogen atom? Can we consider?
Yes, sir.
Because the formation of bonding or formation of molecular orbital bonding is actually similar, right? So we can consider for 1s orbital, the overlapping will be happen like this. Okay, now if it is done, 1s is done, then 2s, from the 2s orbital, 2s atomic orbital and 2s atomic orbital, and then molecular orbital will be formed in the middle, right? And it will go upward direction. So 1s will be the lowest one, and 2s will be the middle one, and 2p will be the highest one. It should not be otherwise. You should not draw 2p in the lower side, rather you should draw the 2p in the highest side, higher side always, and you should give always the energy bar. So if we consider the 2s now, the electron will move forward, move to the molecular orbital. Here also electron will come to here, and another electron will come to this orbital, and another electron will come to this orbital, right? And this orbital will form sigma bond between them. Okay, so this one will be sigma bond, and this will be sigma star bond. Why this is sigma star?
Anti-bonding orbital.
Anti-bonding, isn't it? Right? So that's why we are giving steric sign. Now look at the 2p. In case of 2p, you know that the arrangement for degenerate orbital is like this, isn't it? Arrangement of electrons in degenerate orbital will be like this, right? In case of 2p, arrangement of degenerate orbital will be like this according to Pauli exclusion principle, isn't it? Sorry, Hund's rule. According
Yes,
to Hund's rule, the electron will be placed in one orbital first singly, and then later on that will be paired up, right? So when the formation of molecular orbital happens, it will follow all the principles, above principles, According to above principle, you can see the energy level. The 1s will be the lowest energy level, 2s will be the higher energy level, and 2p will be the highest energy level, isn't it? And according to Pauli exclusion principle, the every orbital will have different
Quantum.
Every electron.
different directional electron, isn't it? Different spin electron. If you find here, you can find the different spin electron, isn't it? Different spin electrons. So Pauli exclusion principle also followed. How about the Hund's rule? According to Hund's rule, the electron will be occupied singly first, and then it will be later on paired up. So now let's look at here. Here it's already single electron placed, right? According to Hund's rule. Now, if the electron moves to here, then what will happen? Will it follow the Hund's rule or not? Let's look at there. One electron from here will come here. Lower energy first, according to above principle. Okay. Lower energy first, according to above principle. Another electron will come to here and will be occupied here. Then this orbital will be fulfilled, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
There are two set of orbital here. These two set of orbital, if the energy is same, then what is the name we can call them? Degenerate orbital, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, these two have same energy, right? These two have same energy. So in case of degenerate orbital, or in case of the energy of with the same energy, in case of the orbitals with the same energy, electron will move and electron will be occupied singly first. Okay, so now let's look how it will happen. This electron will come to here, right? One electron will be placed here, another electron from here, it will not be placed here, rather it will be placed here. Okay,
Yes.
now still there is one electron here, another electron here, right? So this electron, the last electron of this 2p orbital will be come to here, and it will be paired up, and another electron will come to here and it will be paired up. This electron, why they are not going to here, rather it is coming to here? Why this happens? Can you explain?
Sir, because of
Energy
above principle.
Above principle, very good, excellent. Because those are higher energy. So according to above principle, the lowest energy orbital will be fulfilled first. Okay, and then it will go to upward, and then it will go to upward, and then it will go to upward, and then it will go to upward. So before filling up fully the lower energy, the electron will not go to upward. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If there is any question from your side. Now electron transfer is completed. The formation of molecular orbital is also done, right? Formation of all electrons are occupied in the molecular orbital, right? Now let's give you another point. We have discussed considering this is n 1s orbital of nitrogen, right?
Yes, sir.
1s orbital of nitrogen, if you do not draw with the molecular orbital itself, there is no problem, because it will be always like this. There is no differences in 1s, right? if you draw only the outermost label, that will be enough, because if you calculate from the outermost label, the bond order will be same, the bond formation will be same, the magnetic property will also be same. So you can skip 1s orbital for nitrogen, 1s orbital for any other molecular orbital. Have you got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so because the 1s orbital is same for all the molecular orbital, if there is 2s and 2p orbital, if there is 2s orbital, if there is 2s and 2p orbital, if there is more orbital, for example 3s, 3d and 3p, then you don't have to draw the 1s orbital. Okay, if you draw the outermost orbital, the calculation for bond order, calculation for magnetic property and other property will be exactly correct. So you can skip 1s orbital for drawing purpose. Have you understood? But the concept is all the orbitals are taking part in the formation of bonding, right? So 1s orbital is also taking part in the bonding, but due to you can calculate the exact or correct answer from these two outermost shell, that's why you don't have to draw the 1s orbital only. Okay, now let's look at the bond order. What will be the bond order?
3.
3 we can see, but how it's come?
8
8 minus 2 divided by 2.
8 from where the 8 came?
Bonding orbital electron.
of bonding.
How you can calculate the bonding orbital is 8?
6 in 2p orbital and 2 in 2s orbital.
Yes,
So,
can you explain by the color?
So the blue part we have 2s, there are 2, and the 2px, 2pi, 2pz has 6, and 2 plus 6 is 8.
Right. So blue part here and here is actually bonding molecular orbital. Okay, and the yellow part here and here are
Antibody.
anti-bonding molecular orbital. Now when you calculate the bond order, you don't have to calculate this one separately and this one separately. Okay, you have to calculate all the molecular orbital. You have to consider all the molecular orbital to calculate the bond order. Okay, some of you sometimes do this mistake that you calculate the bond order for each separate section. It's not like this. Rather, you have to calculate bond order from the all molecular orbitals. So here bonding molecular orbitals are this blue one, and there is placed 8 electrons, isn't it? And the yellow one has 2 electrons. So 8 minus 2 divided by 2 equals to 3. There is another part here. You can see in case of p orbital, there are 1 sigma bond. In case of only p orbital, when the overlapping happening, one will be sigma and 2 other will be pi. This 2 will be pi and there will be sigma, right? So there is 2 pi overlapping. Okay, there is 1 sigma overlapping, and you know why? When there is 3 bond, then 1 is sigma bond happens, right? Another 2 is
5 bond.
pi bond. We have shown you in case of ethane, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have shown you that time that if there is presence of 3 bond, triple bond, then 1 is sigma bond, another 2 is pi bond. From that concept, actually it's also same, that 1 will be sigma overlapping, another 2 will be pi overlapping. Okay, so now if you consider all the molecular orbitals, then you can find the bond order will be 3. So how many bond can be formed from here? What do you think?
Three bonds.
From the bond order you can guess, because the value is 3 here, so you can say that the bond will be, number of bond will be 3.
Sir,
Okay.
in the bond order, should we count the electrons of the last orbit?
No, not only the last orbit. In case of bond order, you have to count all the molecular orbitals. Now, if you consider this is a first orbital, right? First orbit, and
Yes.
these are the last orbit, right? So if you count from here, 1, 1, 2, let's count here from here. How many it will be? 10.
10, 4.
10 minus 4. What will be
Eight.
then ultimately answer?
3. 10 minus 4 by 2.
So then your answer is here actually, because if you do not consider the first orbit, still the bond order is 3. That's why if you draw the last orbits, this 2s and 2p, as well as if you count the last orbit electron, if you count the last orbit electron for bond order, if you count the last orbit electron for the magnetic property, all are to be correct. Okay, so if you consider only this, that will be enough. What you have to do, you have to do all last orbit. That means 2s also the orbital from last orbit, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
2p also last orbital from the last orbit. So you have to consider this all. Okay, then you will get correct bond order. The last orbital bond order, if you calculate, that will be enough for correct calculation. Okay, so that you don't have to draw this one for molecules of the higher electronic structure, in a higher electronic configuration, as well as you don't have to count the 1s orbital for bond order. You don't have to count the 1s orbital for the magnetic property as well. Okay, this will be the enough for getting the exact or correct information. Okay, so this can be drawn as the molecular orbital theory, molecular orbital diagram can be drawn as N2. And what will be the magnetic property for this one?
Diamagnetic.
Magnetic.
Again, because there is no unpaired electron in the molecular orbital, but there is an unpaired electron in the atomic orbital. Will it influence anything?
No, sir.
Because the electrons actually moving from here to here, right?
Yes, sir.
There is no existence of electron here. After that, after the formation of bond, only electrons are placing here. What is the time now?
So time is already over. 10:57 a.m.
Okay, so let's conclude because time is over. Thank you very much. I hope we can continue this class in next week as well, and we'll complete this chapter. We'll try to complete this chapter. Okay, thank you everyone. Stay safe.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum assalam.